Will you like yourself even if somebody else doesn't? That's the question of the hour, baby. Because so much you get caught up in your headspace about, oh my God, I need this person like me, this person like me. So what if they don't like you? For just a second, let's pretend everybody in the world, like, don't get dramatic and be like, everybody hates me. Everybody. Don't do the all or nothing. That's very victim mentality. Like, I never do this, or I always, that's victim. That's victim mentality. We're not living there today. So I want you to ask yourself this. When you look in the mirror at night or day, whenever, first of all, you got to be able to do that. If you can't look in the mirror at yourself, this is already a deeper issue. Book a session with me. We got to unbox it. But let's say you're looking at yourself in the mirror. I don't want you to go there and pick yourself apart. Oh my God, I'm fat. Oh my God, I'm ugly. I don't want to hear any of that. That's not what you're looking at. Can you look at yourself and say, hey, you know what? Person on the other side of this mirror, I love you. I like you. Because if you can't, that is why, seriously, you're worried about everybody else liking you. Because when you can look in the mirror and say, baby, I love you, right? And I don't mean from an ego space, like, oh my God, I'm in love with you. Everybody should love you. That's a wound that you have not healed. That is not self-love. Self-love is going, oh my God, I was so authentic today. And I was honest with who I am. And I have my boundaries and this is me. There will, not might, there will be people who are not going to like it. There are going to be people who are going to talk mad smack. They exist. They're going to happen. So the courage to love yourself and like yourself has to be your driving force. Because if you can't look in the mirror and love yourself, and I mean all of it, self-love is not because you're perfect. It's the quite opposite of that. Self-love is, you screwed up. Yep. You made mistakes. Yep. You have growth. Yep. You have a lot of things to work on, but you are loving yourself for the moment, the season that you're in today. You are loving yourself right now. That's where you are right now today. And I think this is the important part for you because you get so worried about other people's perspective of you, but they can only see it through their lens, right? I've told you before, if they have these lens on, if they have those lens on, whatever. If they have lens and they're wearing them, they're only seeing it from their perspective, right? I don't care what you tell them. I don't care if you tell them you're this and this and this. They still are only committed to seeing it through their lens. So the more you're worried about everybody else looking through their lens at you, how are you looking at yourself? Seriously, how are you looking at yourself? So let's reframe that to kind of give you a little direction here, because I think that's a big problem for people. It is a big problem for people. You're not sitting in self-love. You're not accepting you for who you are. And so you're fishing for all of these people and morphing and changing who you are and making people comfortable so you can kind of feel that worth, but you're always going to be chasing it because you can't please people that aren't pleased with themselves. It's just not going to happen. So first and foremost, you have to ask yourself, why are you judging yourself? See, again, it isn't about everybody else liking you. It never is. It never has been. Like, yeah, it's easy to blame that. It's easy to focus on that because it's where you're focusing. Because it's easier to focus outward and look at, if they like me, then this. If I get this money, I'll be happy. If I do this, you're always looking external. But the reality is you're never going to find satisfaction externally. And if you do, it's going to be quick. Oh my God, I need to get a new house. You get a new house. You're like, oh my God, I love the house for a year. And then you're like, I would have changed it. Oh, the next house I'm going to do different. And you're always seeking that next best thing. And that is why you have to ask yourself, what is your resistance? You're resistant here. So this is a big inner work for you. What is your resistance to loving yourself? Is it because you're like, well, damn, for so many years, I haven't loved myself. This is normal. And honestly, it is. Your self-sabotage, your self-loathing has become a normal automatic behavior for you. And I am going to do like a podcast on this because it needs to be expanded on. I'm going to do 10 minutes here, but there's so much more to unbox here. But I want you to sit in a space of going, okay, let's do this, right? See, real-time moment. Thank goodness for my ADHD because it'll bounce me where I need to be. So what is it that you feel? Okay, so really ask yourself this. What is it that you feel other people can give you about yourself? And I don't mean like money. I'm talking internally. That you can't give yourself. Don't say validation. Don't do that. Don't do that. Their validation means way less than your own validation. If you know that what you're doing is not malicious in intent, you're not doing it to be manipulative, you're not gaslighting, you're doing something to protect your peace, and someone else doesn't like the fact that you have boundaries now, and when you didn't have boundaries, they could benefit from it, well, of course they're not going to like it. Of course. So why are you waiting for their validation when their own home, not physical home, mental home, inner home, isn't in order either? Why are you taking the opinions of people that you wouldn't even allow tie your laces? Why are you walking in their shoes? Why? Why are you doing it? And that's the big thing. Is it because you never knew how to give yourself that self-love? Well, we're here now. We are here today. We are not worrying about how it was. We're not worrying about what you don't have. We're not worrying about what happened to you. We are here today. We are here today. So you need to do some serious hardcore and go to my Inner Child series here on YouTube. There's like 5 videos on it. It'll really help you to help kind of start it, right? And use your 5 journals, all of these things that come into play. This is important for you because this is your work to do. You're doing that thing again where you're worrying about if somebody doesn't like me, maybe I'm wrong. No, people are not all going to like you. There will be people that are committed to not liking you, regardless if you save the world. You could solve world hunger. It's not going to be enough. There's always going to be that. And it might be your own family. Sometimes your own family and friends are the ones that can be a little disappointing in your mind because you're giving them so much credit. Don't do that. People are still human beings. They're dealing with their own stuff. You're not their priority, and nor should you be. You have to be your own priority. When you're your priority, they're their priority, and people are houses are good, then you can come together and have interpersonal relationships. That's where relationships work and sustain and feel whole. And that is interpersonal skills, but it's where interpersonal skills, yes, but relationships. When each of you are respecting the other person, each of you are coming together without neediness, without codependency. You're doing so to enjoy and be present in that moment in time. But you can't do that unless you're taking care of you. When you do that, you're not going to get caught up in the FOMO. You're not going to worry about, oh my God, what am I missing out on? Oh my God, why is this person not hanging with me? That is a sign that you are lacking self-love. Do not judge yourself. This is about self-compassion. You have to love yourself. You have to have self-compassion and you got to love yourself. But you can't do that by looking at Instagram and saying, well, why don't I have that? Looking at Christmas pajama pictures at Christmas time and going, oh my God, I want that family. Or seeing people hang out and go, oh my God, why wasn't I included? Why are you projecting that? So you have to ask yourself, even if you're not invited, can you still love yourself? It takes courage. You have to be comfortable with knowing that even if somebody doesn't like you or they don't vibe with you, it's just not a connection, that it is okay. And it doesn't mean they're less or better than. And that goes the same for you, by the way. You're not better than someone else. Just because you don't vibe with them doesn't make you superior. It doesn't make you right. It just means that energy doesn't work. And that's okay. That's going to happen for you and for them. But can you look at yourself in the mirror and say, I still love me? Because if you can't, then you're always going to be seeking that. And so that's why I want you to start. You have to start there. I mean, you can always book a session with me, but at the end of the day, you still have to do the work. I don't care who you book a session with. There's no magic. There's no magic pill. There's no magic coaching. There's no magic therapy. Those are all tools in your toolbox that you have to use. It's not fast. It takes commitment and it takes courage. You have to have the courage to show up for yourself. Not the motivation. We don't care about motivation. It's fake. You have to have the courage to show up for yourself. And are you willing to be true to you, even if the people around you don't understand it? Because if the answer to that question is no, that's where you know you're lacking that self-love. It's okay to disappoint people. It is, because it's not their life. You know what I mean? Like, your life is not a conference call for other people. And stop falling in love with the idea that you need them to support you. You need them on your journey. No, we are not islands. We do require, as mammals and humans, human interaction, but you don't want to hold on to people for the sake of having people, right? So first and foremost is always going to start with the foundation of you. Everything that you will ever build has got to come from self-acceptance, self-love, self-confidence, and self-confidence comes from doing the things you don't want to do, being okay walking into the unknown. So ask yourself, do you have the confidence and courage? Not confidence, take that out. Do you have the courage? Because you might not have the confidence. Do you have the courage to show up, love yourself for who you are, even if the people around you don't?